Welcome to a special playoff edition of High School Football Game Day. I'm Gunnar Webb. With the playoffs beginning, the Indians will host the 14th seeded Weir Red Raiders on Saturday. The two teams have not met yet this season or in recent history, and it will be interesting to see how these two teams match up head-to-head. Weir has had a pretty good year, posting a 7-3 record with losses coming against an Ohio school and two common opponents, Fairmont Senior and Kaiser. Weir could just not keep up with Senior's high-powered offense, but as expected, played closer to Weir, who Bridgeport beat handily 30-0. Weir comes in riding on an easy victory last week against Brook, who they defeated 40-7. Bridgeport is obviously the favorite as the 3 seed playing at home, but don't count Weir's high-scoring offense out, as they scored 75 points against Petersburg and are averaging just over 37 points a game this season. Bridgeport has been known to post high offensive numbers as well, last week scoring 56 points on Lincoln, who they defeated by 35. Once again, Jake Bowen had a huge game rushing the ball, gaining 215 yards on the ground, also adding an 84-yard kickoff return to his totals. He finished the evening with 4 touchdowns. John Merica added 3 rushing touchdowns and ran for over 100 yards. He also completed a pass for 28 yards. The Tribe also got help from DeAndre Holloway and Brian Henderson, as Henderson added a touchdown himself. The Indians finished up the regular season 9-1, relying heavily on their stout defense and on their prolific rushing attack. Today I got a special interview with the main man behind all the action. This weekend you guys are playing on Saturday at 1:30. It's your first day game of the year, and you do get an extra day of preparation. So you want to talk a little bit about that, and do you think the preparation will help?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, especially if you have a little bit of bad weather. I don't think we really want to play on Saturday. I think the opposing coach does that for a reason. But the bottom line is, if we have some issues during the week, if we see some things that we need to work on, it does give you an extra day.
You guys have had a lot of success, and you've blown some teams out, winning by multiple touchdowns. So, you got your guys ready and prepared to play full games that they're going to have to see, through November? Are you doing some extra conditioning for them?
Well, that's the hope. I mean, as far as extra conditioning goes, I don't know about that. I think a little bit, yeah. Like you said, this week's a little bit different. You got a little more time to do that because you don't play till Saturday. So, yeah, we have, and that's always in our coaching staff's the back of our minds. Are we in shape? We haven't played that many 4-quarter games, but I think so. I mean, we've done pretty much the same thing over the years with conditioning, and hopefully we'll see.
Well, let's talk a little bit about Weir. We're 7-3, and they have played the common opponents in Fairmont Senior and Kaiser, so you got to probably watch a little bit of tape on that maybe. And I'm curious as to whether last week playing Lincoln, get to seeing a lot of passes, throw the ball at almost every down. And Weir has a pretty, typical high school attack. They run the ball a lot. But how important is it to keep your DBs from getting lulled to sleep in the running game, as they have been known to throw it a little bit?
Well, that's what we tell them whenever it's sort of like a team when they play us. I mean, you can't get lulled to sleep. You have to read your keys every play because they can pop a pass on you anytime. The way that you combat that really is to stop the run.
Right.
I mean, if you can stop the run and make them a little more one-dimensional, then that surprise element isn't there.
All right, and one final question, and it pertains to the offense. You guys found success this year, as usual, running the ball really heavily. Will you talk a little bit about how nice it is to have multiple backs that you can call on to run the play, and the defense not knowing who's going to, inevitably wind up with the ball?
Right. It's a luxury. I mean, they can't key on just one person. Right. John and Jake have done a great job. Our offensive line knows that if they do their job, even for just a little bit, if they can get either one of those guys through the line, they've got a good chance to break it. So we're real fortunate there. DeAndre Holloway is also in that backfield. Our offensive coordinator is experimenting with some formations to utilize both DeAndre and Jake. So we're able to put, because of our success and the execution we've had, we're able to put some different things in.
Well, it sure looks like Coach Cole has his guys ready for the playoffs. And now to a special playoff edition of Friday Night Thoughts.
Good morning, BHS, and welcome back to another edition of Friday Night Thoughts, this time on a Thursday. I'm here with Jimmy Allison and Caleb Strakel here to talk about Saturday's Weir game. So, guys, this is a playoff game. It's a big deal and determines the rest of our season. What will we need to do to win this game?
Just go out there and have a good game, work hard.
All right, and Strakel?
Yeah, their offense pretty good, so our defense is going to have to step up and shut them down.
All right, now, is there any specific strategy that we're going to use to overcome Weir High School?
Yeah, nothing specific. We're going out there and just work hard, do our thing. That's about it.
All right, and Strakel?
Yeah, we've been practicing hard all week, and we're going to have to come out Saturday and get the W.
All right, now, since this is such a big game, what do you guys do to prepare?
Like before the game, I go home, eat a sandwich, come back, just bump some tunes. That's it.
All right, and Strakel?
Yeah, I just go home, put my headsets on, get in the zone, and usually grab something to eat before the game.
All right, well, that's it for this issue of Thursday Night Thoughts. Now back to you.
I'm now joined by our guest picker of the week, Caden Shimagowski. What's going on, Caden?
What's going on, buddy?
All right, so this weekend we got Bridgeport's first playoff game. What do you think the score is going to be facing Weir?
I have pretty high hopes for us. I think it's going to be a good way to start off the postseason. So I'm going to go ahead and say 35-14 Bridgeport.
All right. Mountaineers also playing on Saturday. The game's starting at 3:30, and it's on the road against Kansas State. How do you think we'll fare in that game?
They were favored because they're on the road, but I'm going to go ahead and still say 28-17.
28-17.
Us.
All right, so Caden, you're a huge Jags fan. You got your Judge Drew jersey on. So we'll go ahead and let you pick that game too. What's the score going to be this weekend as the Jags take on the Chargers?
Well, they are playing at StubHub, I believe. I'm not sure, but I'm going to go ahead and say it's going to be a big victory. I'm going to go ahead and say 42-7.
42-7 for the Jags. All right. So if you plan to attend the game on Saturday, remember it is set to start at 1:30, an unusual start time for the Tribe. It will be interesting to see how the Indians fare and whether or not they have what it takes to begin what they hope to be a deep playoff run. Be sure to pack Wayne Jamison Stadium as the Indians search for their 7th straight victory. With this playoff edition of High School Football Game Day, I'm Gunnar Webb, and as always, Roll Tribe.